Hola, desde España, mis amigos. Welcome from Spain. I'm so happy to be here today. This is KHM Today on, I don't even know what day it is, January 19th, 2022. Thanks for joining me today as I come to you live from my hotel room in Madrid. Sorry, it's not outside, but it's 9 o'clock at night here, so you wouldn't be able to see much except for traffic anyways. But I'm so excited for our show today. We have a lot of great guests and a lot of great information. And so we're just going to jump right into it. So to join me this week and also be my backup in case the internet poops out on me from my hotel room is our own Wanda Thomas with the education team. Welcome, Wanda.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, hi, thanks for being here. We can't see you just yet, but I'm sure you're popping up here. So as you guys know, the last 2 weeks, we've kind of had this team talk that we've been doing where we discuss the latest news and kind of things that we've learned. And Wanda, I'm still not seeing you on the screen. Are you here? But I don't see myself either. So, okay, good. I can't see anyone on my screen. But I wanted to share with you guys before we talk about some of the things that are going on in the news, I wanted to share with you a little bit about what I have been doing this week. And so you will see, I have been eating, and doing some more eating. So the first picture on the screen, you guys, is something called churros with chocolate. And, you kind of think, oh, churros, and then maybe it's drizzled with chocolate or it's faced with chocolate. Oh, no, Wanda, take a look at that picture. They give you churros, and then they give you literally a cup of chocolate that you can drink. It's that good. It's not bitter. It's not too sweet. So you stir it a little bit, and then you can either drink it like a cup of coffee or dip your churros in it. Is that something? I'm not a sweet person, and this wowed me.
I love it. I love churros and chocolate. I love Madrid. I love all of Spain.
Well, and one of the interesting things is you guys could see in the picture, there's the skinny ones, which we know as churros. And then on the very bottom, there's another kind. It's got another name and I can't pronounce it, but it's more like a donut. Oh, it's so delicious. And then after that, of course, I walked and needed to walk off some of that. But the picture in the middle is actually, get this, the oldest restaurant in the world, not just Spain, the world. And there's in the bottom right hand corner of the window, you can see there's a certificate from the Guinness Book of World Records. And so we didn't get to eat there, but we passed it. And I just thought that's pretty incredible, right? It's just on some random street in Madrid, but it is the oldest restaurant in the world.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was very, very cool. And I will tell you, my guide on this day, it was not a normal tourist thing. I had a local person that lived there, and she's a friend. And so her and her husband took me around. And that's so fun because they take you to places and they show you things that normally you wouldn't get to see.
That's true. Very true.
The other picture on the top, now this might be ooh to some.
Yeah, you can
but
have
that is basically, it is calamari in a roll. And they call it something, I want to say it's called a bocadillo. But for €4, you get the sandwich and a beer, which I think is pretty good, right? Like that's like a Big Mac. Mm-hmm. I would say it was too much for me. I didn't love the bread. The calamari was great, but I didn't love the bread. But here's the thing. They eat all of the time here. Mm-hmm. And so I had churros with chocolate at probably noon. Mm-hmm. 1 o'clock, they're feeding me that. I can't do that. That's too much food.
I wonder that was really because I know sometimes they put marinara sauce on it, and I can't remember, was it cheese or something else? So I know sometimes they do a topping to make it a superior calamari sandwich. Uh-oh, did Carolyn freeze on us?
I did not see that in Spain. What I would have liked was some lemon. It was a little too dry. And with the bread, wait. So, and then the last picture, this is very cool. This is in Puerto del Sol, which is basically, I'm getting a poor connection, ignore. It's essentially the center of Spain. not the center of Madrid. It is the dead center of Spain. And so whichever direction you go, that's where the kilometers start. So 0 kilometers is at this spot. And then if you go up a block, that's 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, or the other direction or the other direction. Really kind of cool. I had been there before, but I had never seen this before. I didn't really know what it meant. So it is the absolute center of Spain. Very cool, huh?
Yeah, that is. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it made me wonder, do other places have a center like this where the measuring starts to get places? I don't know the answer to that. Maybe I'll research it and come back to you guys next week. So that is my
know in Kenya, there's a location that's about the equator. So it does have a measurement associated with it. There's all these signs, et cetera, and you're on the equator at this particular point. And then they have signs all around that tell you how far you're from certain areas based on that. But that's in, it was Kenya.
So anyways, let's talk about some of, we've got one headline that I think is really kind of neat this week. I know you saw it because I sent it to you, but it's called the Tourist Battalion. And this is some troops armed that are out on the beaches of Quintana Roo patrolling. And they are armed. They're on, what do we call them? 4-wheelers on the beach. So you read this. Does this make you feel better about going to the destination? Does this make you feel safer, or do you feel like overkill?
That's interesting. I guess I am accustomed to seeing the armed guards at different places, not at a resort, not necessarily always at the beach, but I've definitely seen them. For instance, some of the cruise docks, as an example, they're standing there with the gun. Certain areas you go into, someone standing there with a gun, et cetera. So I'm accustomed to seeing them in different places. I think seeing if there's a lot of them in a general area, it will probably make me more concerned. I'll be like, wonder what's going on. I mean, just like at home, when you see a bunch of police somewhere, you're trying to figure out, what's going on over there. So I think I will have some curiosity about what's going on. And so it will take me away from the relaxation. So I guess in a way it will give me a little extra tense.
Did you experience extra police or any sort of force in Kenya during your travels?
Not really. There was, very similar to being in some of your Latin countries and Mexican countries. There were people strategically placed at different points along the route. So as we drove through different areas, we had to go through certain checkpoints, if you were, that we would see people. As we entered certain establishments, there were also guards that were presented there as well. But it wasn't a lot of them. It was maybe 1 or 2 at the designated area. Where are you going? Where are you coming from? Things of that nature. And that was about it.
Well, and I have to give them credit, right? They there was a problem, there was a concern, and they've turned around and very, very quickly tried to do something about it. So whether or not people feel better or safer, if they don't have any more incidents, only time will tell. But you have to give them credit for seeing the problem and trying to solve it.
Absolutely. I mean, they've made a wealth of revenue from the standpoint of not being closed at all during this whole COVID scenario. So I'm sure they don't want to lose that capital that's coming in for them. So it only makes sense that they would definitely try to make people feel more comfortable so they don't interrupt that economic flow.
Right. And I as a side note, I think we all saw today, no more health questionnaire coming or going into Cancun, into Mexico in general. I think the whole health questionnaire is out the door, which is fantastic. And I loved the fact that I think when someone posted about it a week ago, it was, we're not doing anything with the information, so why are we gathering it? Thank you.
Exactly.
That makes perfect sense.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. It was a lot of work with the timing to try and get it right and try to explain to the client and make it all happen, that if we're not doing anything with the information, let's stop collecting it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, well, thank you so much for being here today. Thanks for being my backup in case the internet goes out, but I appreciate it. I appreciate you, and we'll see you probably next week.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I look forward to it. Right. Can't wait to hear about all of your adventures.
Oh, Lord. Well, I'm just so happy that, you guys know last week I was sharing the anxiety of coming and being with two kids that weren't my own. And the process was really very, very simple. So I have to say that thank you to United Airlines for their travel ready center that walked me through everything and made sure I knew what I was doing. But there was a level of anxiety, not knowing if I had all my ducks in a row, and we did because I'm here. So now if I'm not back next week, it's because I failed my COVID test tomorrow. So hopefully I'll be back with you guys. Otherwise, we'll be live from Madrid again.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, Wanda.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
All right, you guys, we have not seen this gentleman in 2022. Here is the famous Tim Smith with 5 ways to get the new year going. Hi, Tim.
Hey, Carolyn, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Get on screen here. Well, I'm practicing my Spanish. The big Spanish word that I used to use all the time was recuerdos a todos. And I said that to some Spanish-speaking people, and they go, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "Well, isn't that regards to everyone, recuerdos a todos?" And they go, "Nobody says that." I go, "Oh, well, I learned it in the 10th grade. They said they might say it in Spain. Have you heard it in Spain? Have you heard that in Spain?
No, not at all.
Try it on somebody.
I have to say, I'll try it tomorrow. Yeah. I have to say, my high school Spanish and my college Spanish has actually helped. Not that I will speak, because that's very nerve-wracking, but I actually understand. If they talk slow enough, I can understand. But so I've been kind of impressed with myself. But my goal for 2022, guys, you heard it here first, is to improve my Spanish. So I've decided that between the travels I'm coming here, and this is likely not my only trip this year to Spain, that this is what, I need to up my game. What do you have with us as far as 5 ways to get the new year going?
Well, I got some Tim's terrific tips here for you.
Can you hear me, Tim?
Yeah, I can. So, number 1,
good.
Eat an apple a day. I'm eating more and more fruit all the time, and you always hear eat an apple a day, keeps the doctor away. But then I was reading about bananas, and they can say the same thing about bananas too, except bananas have a lot more nutrition than apples do. So I've been eating banana a day. So that's been a big way to start the year off. And for some reason, the banana fills me up, and then I'm just not hungry. So sometimes I only eat once a day. And I just came back from the doctor, and he's like, "Tim, you've lost 10 pounds." And I go, "Yes, I have." I said, "I think I owe it to eating banana." Because I said, I don't know, for some reason it fills me up and I don't feel hungry. Isn't that great?
Well, I feel like you should eat more than once a day, but I'm glad that the banana is working for you.
Good. And then take time. Number 2, take time for laughter and relaxation. My mother had a saying when I'd get all concerned about something, she would say, "Tim, don't take life so seriously. You're not going to get out of it alive anyway." And so
let me ask you this.
Okay, sure.
So, take more time for laughter, for relaxation. I think we can all find laughter on a daily basis. I feel like that's something pretty easy to find. Relaxation is not so easy, especially right now. We've canceled flights, people testing positive in different places. There's this stress, there's this anxiety. It's hard to relax, especially when you have clients traveling. What is your tip for trying to clear your brain of all of that and just relax?
Well, it's funny because it kind of goes to my 3rd step, which is exercise. I like to exercise and I ride a bike. I started a biking organization for our county here. And when I bike a lot, and then for some reason when I stop, then I just, my whole body just kind of relaxes. I don't know if it's releasing endorphins into me or it's making my muscles tired. You know, that's really, it's funny to say that exercise relaxes you, but it does. It just something about it. So my thing is number 3. Go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like we are, and I'm going to ask Belay this when she comes on. As an industry, we know how to have fun, we know how to have to laugh, but relaxing is hard for us because we're constantly going and moving towards the next thing. So I just think that's something that's really, really interesting for our industry. It seems to be commonplace that we are constantly moving in the direction of the next thing and the next place and the next client, that we don't often take time to eat well, relax, laugh, and exercise. So maybe in this new year, we can all commit to that.
Well, you know, I'm going to be doing a show on February the 8th. I'll go into it a little bit more. But right now, I wanted to get to one of my main topics that I think people should be talking about. Number 4 would be drink plenty of water. It's crazy that I have to remind people to drink water, but there's just something about your system. It's, you know, 90% water, and you got to be almost cleansing it out all the time. And so a friend of mine said, well, I just always have a bottle of water sitting on the counter, and that keeps reminding me to drink more. And then I have an app, okay, and it measures how much water I drink. So I try to get at least 60 ounces a day. And that, for some reason, energizes me and relaxes me at the same time, because it's like, you know, flow. It's like airflow, water flow, airflow. It's kind of the same thing. And then the last thing is really important, since the beginning of the year, is to be setting some goals. And I think setting SMART goals is very good. I used to have all kinds of ways that I would set goals. And then when I came across setting SMART goals, and you can look this up on the internet, it's pretty simple to do, but each letter in SMART stands for something. And I'm going to hit it real quick here. The S in SMART is specific. Some people say, well, I want to be more healthy. Well, that's not a goal. That's just like a wish. What does that mean? Yeah. So you got to be specific. Okay, you know, I'm gonna eat better, or I'm gonna diet better, or I'm going to, you know, take 20-minute walks 3 times a week. You know, that's a specific. That's getting more specific. And then measurable. Okay, like measuring how much water you drink every day. Then you can kind of gauge how you're doing as far as that's going. So it's got to be measurable, and then attainable. You know, if you say, you know, I want to develop 10 new clients this year. Okay, well, that's measurable. That's something that you can measure. But if you just say, I want more clients this year, that doesn't do you any good, because it doesn't give your brain really anything to work on. You always have your conscious brain that's working, and then your subconscious brain that's working. And your brain actually needs, you know, specific measurable goals in order for you to obtain them. And then they got to be obtainable. You know, they got to be something. What I found out with salespeople working with them for the last 30 years is they'll come up with some crazy wild goal. You know, I want to make, you know, $200,000 this year, and they've never made more than 50,000. And what I think they do is they're setting themselves up for failure, or they're making their goal so big that they really know in their heart that they're not going to be able to reach it. And so the goal's got to be obtainable of what you want to go for. And then it's got to be relevant. You know, you have a set of values that's important to you, and so the goals have to kind of blend in and fit with your values. So it's got to be relative to the things that you think are important. And then the most important thing to me is they got to be time-based. Okay, you have to set a goal. If you set a goal to have 10 new clients this year, let's say 12, well, then that would be 1 new client every month. Okay, 1 good new client every month. So if you set that for 12 months from now, well, then you got to back that up. That means that you have to get 1 every month. Okay. Well, in order to get those 10 clients, how many calls do you have to make every week? Maybe you have to make, 20 calls every week. So maybe that's, 4 or 5 calls that you have to make every day, or 4 or 5 networking events that you have to go to every day to get those prospects, to get the people that you can talk to, that then one becomes a client. And so you got to have it time-based. And if you do that, you're on your way. Now I'm going to expand on all this February 8th, but that's some tips to kind of get you started for the month of January.
Those are awesome. And I just want to reiterate and kind of expand on the fact that it's, when you set these goals and you're setting the goals correctly, you have to know the how. How are you going to accomplish this? So if I set a goal, I like to write down 5 things that I'm going to do to achieve that goal. Is it the phone calls? Is it the emails? Am I going to join in that working group? Am I going to use a quoting system or a proposal that's a little bit more intriguing and eye-catching? So that how you're going to do it is just as important as the what do you want to do?
Yeah, I used to have to make calls to set up appointments to go see people. And to get one appointment, I knew I had to make at least 10 calls. So I would take 10 pennies and send them in front of me. And then every time I made a call, I'd push that penny forward. And that call would be whether they answered the phone or not, whether they said no or yes. It didn't make any difference to me. And I just wanted to get through those 10 pennies. Well, it seems like every time I got through those 10 pennies, I would get at least one appointment. So you're right, having kind of a plan of figuring that out.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you on February 8th and hearing more about how to get our new year started. And guys, it is the 3rd week of the new year, but it is not too late to set those goals. We've got a long year ahead of us. So tune in to Tim on February 8th for more tips. And thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thanks, Tim.
Bye.
All right, you guys. This next lady is no stranger to the show. She is here today to talk about something super, super exciting. Please welcome Soleil, the Director of National Accounts for Norwegian Cruise Line. Hello.
Hi.
How are you today?
Good. Super jealous, but wish I could be with you in Spain. It's one of my favorite places in the world. True story. And I do have my water, as Tim mentioned, so that's always nearby. So I feel like I'm doing good after he mentioned. I was like, okay, well, I can check that off the list.
How are you at setting goals for yourself?
Oh, see, it kind of depends. I like to say that I'm really good, but then whenever I do catch myself falling off, I just kind of have to remind myself why I started in the first place. Even if it's something of, it's 5 minutes for me, or even the relaxation that you were mentioning, taking that mental health and even being like, no, I need 30 minutes to just kind of balance. So it kind of wavers. It depends on what it is, but I try to come back as best as I can, if I'm honest. But in the end, it's, you can't take yourself too seriously. It's all going to work out. Kind of like you said, like, it'll all be fine in the end.
Yes. Well, and that's the thing, right? If you start to fall off the horse, okay, you can get back on, right? There's no one saying that you failed or anything. This is all personal. So just find yourself on that path again, even though you might have gone astray.
Of course, and the time is going to pass anyway, so you might as well just kind of keep restarting instead of just inevitably, never starting up again.
Exactly. So, well, you're here today to talk about something super exciting, and that is the brand new ship, Viva, that went on sale last week. And for anyone that watches the show, they know that I love a good promo video for the ship more than anything else. I will just keep clicking on that video over and over again. And I watched the one for the Viva, and it is stunning.
I did too, actually. I love the song that's along like to that, the visuals of that. That's actually a song that I was a big fan of before I saw the video. And then when I was actually told my husband, I was so excited. I was like, they actually used the song for something. He's like, really? I'm like, you don't understand. Like, so no, I absolutely love it. I think that she is absolutely gorgeous. And I thank you for having me on to be able to talk about her.
Yeah, so one of the things I noticed with the ship is, and I've noticed with Prima as well, there's this understated elegance that is coming about. And I don't want to say that wasn't there in the past, but what we saw were more bold colors. The sides of the ship were a little more, you could tell when a Norwegian ship was docked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the last two ships, it's got a different feel, different vibe to it. I'm assuming that's intentional.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's a lot more about really utilizing every inch of space on board the ship as thoughtfully as possible, just to really maximize it. And even just the design that you were mentioning. So with the Prima class and Viva being the second of that class, they're designed by world-class architects and famed artists. And even we were kind of going back and forth on email, and you were mentioning how even the staterooms look very different on board Viva than they do on our previous ships. It's a lot of whites, a lot of creams, a lot of taupes, a lot more of that elegance that you wouldn't typically find on board a cruise ship, specifically not one where it has that kind of theming throughout the entire vessel and maybe not just in the luxury segment of the ship. And kind of speaking on having the ship be thoughtfully designed, we really lucked out, I will say, with the Prima class and with Viva. COVID, obviously, everyone wants a little bit more wiggle room, a little bit more elbow space to kind of spread out from one another. But we have been designing these ships for years. This has been a long time coming. So it's really worked out to our benefit, unbeknownst to us then when we were starting to design them, that we would have really such a hot commodity on our hands with having a ship where it's, for anyone who's familiar with our brand, she's the same size as the Norwegian Breakaway and the Norwegian Getaway, but with 800 less people on board. So that's a lot more room to spread out and to really just kind of enjoy. And even the pool deck areas, there are 4 pools on board Viva. And most of those pools are actually infinity edge pools. There's one in the Haven, there's one on either side of the ship, and then there's a standard pool, if you will, up on top. So we do go ahead and we put out there that we have the most pool deck space because we have 4 different massive pool areas as well that everyone can just kind of spread out. So not everyone is going to be clustered at the top of the ship like it would be in a traditional setting.
I think it's so interesting that, you say this is that because the design has been out there for years, right? And it just kind of seamlessly has flowed into what we all are kind of calling the COVID space and what we wanted. Yeah. But I'm a firm believer, because I felt like this. I think people wanted more space on cruise ships years ago. And I think that you were addressing this, right? I love cruising. The one part of cruising I don't love is the pool deck. Because unless you are out there at 6 o'clock in the morning claiming your spot, you're not getting one. And so it's a lot of people around a little sardine can size pool. And this is addressing that concern that people have had for years, and that need. It just is so timely. It's really very crazy when you think about it.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of that. So I went on another brand. I'm not going to say who. I went on another brand in 2021 for a work event, and it was a brand new ship. I will say that, so it wasn't like it was something that was older. But I was on there with some colleagues and some other suppliers as well, and I kept mentioning to them, like, I kind of just want to sit out somewhere that's not in my own balcony and just kind of take in the ocean. And I didn't feel like that particular ship provided that opportunity where I felt like I could actually feel the breeze through my hair. Where even on the pool deck, like you're saying, where there was everyone, the way that the pool deck was designed, it blocked off all the wind from everything. So I never really appreciated until seeing that the waterfront that we have on the rest of our ships, but also the Ocean Boulevard that we're going to have on Viva, and as well as her sister Prima, where, if you're familiar with this part of our product, the waterfront is about 20,000 square feet of space that goes almost all the way around our ships on deck 8. Well, Ocean Boulevard does go absolutely all the way around. It adds to that iconic silhouette of the ship, and it's 44,000 square feet. It is so much room. And then, of course, that's where we also have the infinity pools and the food hall and all that incredible activities and stuff to do on board. So I think we did it right. I am a little biased, but I think that, you know, we did something right with this class of ships, and I can't wait for everyone to see it.
I think it's amazing. One of the things that I think is so fun is the game gallery. It's like the Price is Right on steroids,
yes.
Which I'm a big fan of oversized games, whether they're chess boards, which I don't know how to play chess, but that always was something that I loved just seeing. The big checkers, the pool that's like, you know, big, and you've got the balls for the, you know, and it's kind of larger than a pool table. But there are several of these games in this game gallery that just look like so much fun. And I haven't seen this sort of thing on any ship before.
I will give that team so much credit for their creativity and ingenuity of really bringing those onboard activities, because it's not only the Galaxy Pavilion, where on Viva we'll have multiple escape rooms with different theming. We'll have a Top Golf experience. My forte is mini golf, not Top Golf. But all in all, it's still something that's really exciting to do, and it's this virtual reality and augmented reality kind of space, and anyone of all ages can really have fun there. And then to your point, all of those live shows as well, like the Price is Right and Supermarket Sweep, that actually is really unique on board the Prima class and as well as Viva, because our theater is completely redesigned. That's one of those areas on the ship where you go in for the show, you use it as a traditional theater, and then you leave and that's it. And otherwise it's some unused space. Well, on this class of ship, we've actually made it so that the seats are retractable into the back and side walls of the theater. So we can have it as a full theater set up for, you know, the traditional shows in the evening, and then we can kind of have it as a game show, which is where you'll have like the Price is Right and Supermarket Sweep. So you'll actually kind of be able to see and participate and, you know, see everyone kind of running around with the cards. And then in the evenings, that's what turns into our nightclub. So the beautiful chandelier that you'll see in the renderings, that's actually all the lighting for all the nightclub. It'll turn into a Vegas style nightclub too. So the entire floor will clear out and have like VIP sections. So I tell you, they thought it through on this trip.
It's just gorgeous. So the last thing that I think is just incredible is the itineraries. And I have to say, so I'm a huge fan of sailing the Mediterranean. I think it's such a gorgeous destination. I don't think it's a one-timer. I think you can sail the Mediterranean multiple times and experience something different every time, even if you're going to the same ports of call. But in years with great ships, what we typically see is Rome to Barcelona, Barcelona to Rome. And this has so many different variations. There's Portugal, there's Venice, did I see one with Belgium in there? I mean, just really interesting and different. And it's just very exciting to see some of these ports coming back and offering what I would consider a really unique itinerary.
Absolutely. And it's one of those areas that we've seen a lot of success in, and we've actually seen success with, you know, Northern Europe, Mediterranean, you know, kind of like all facets of Europe. But the nice thing about having a smaller ship like Viva is we're not looking to be the largest ship out there, not by any means. But because it's a smaller ship, we can get into some of these other ports of call that some of those larger ships cannot get into. So it really provides a port intensive experience. So for example, one of the ones that I think is my favorite is a 10-day Europe that starts over in Rome and ends in Lisbon, like you were mentioning it over in Portugal. And it actually goes through the Straits of Gibraltar, which I think is just something that you wouldn't normally stumble upon and you wouldn't visit typically on a typical Mediterranean, because you tend to stay in the Mediterranean Sea. So it's just kind of thinking about the consumer and where they would want to go and making it so that they can still come back and have a completely different experience while it being the same region and the same vessel.
Yeah, and we don't want to forget that there is a Caribbean itinerary out there as well that I believe hits like Curacao. I mean, it looked really good as well.
From San Juan, yeah, and that's actually where one of the things that's going to set Viva aside from the rest of the the new ships that we've released. She's not going to necessarily home port out of Miami. She's going to be home ported out of San Juan for the Caribbean market. So that's really something that's unique because again, it'll give that opportunity to go a little bit deeper into that Southern Caribbean that everyone loves going to. But I think some folks just don't realize how far south it really is if you're trying to go from Miami or from New York.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I'm so excited, you guys. If you haven't watched the video or looked at the itineraries, please visit the Norwegian Cruise Line website. Go to YouTube for that video on Viva. It's truly stunning, and get out there and sell it because it's on sale now. How was that? Was that a good promo for you?
I loved it. Yeah, thank you. And definitely watch the video. Watch it at least 5 times so you can compete with Carolyn on daily views for it.
Exactly. So I thank you so much for being here. Thanks for being a great partner at KHM, and we will, I'm sure, see you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Take care.
All right, you guys. And last but definitely not least, we have some really great tips for our New Year, New Marketing segment. We've got 5 email marketing resolutions for 2022. Please welcome Carolyn Sukaric to KHM Today. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
There you are. Hi. How are you today?
Good. Great to see you joining from Spain.
Yes, I'm just so glad that we've made it almost through, and there's been a few little glitches, but overall, smooth sailing and no fire trucks out my window, no one banging on my door, so yay.
I too, Carolyn, am a sucker for those cruise launch videos, and I loved, I don't think Soleil mentioned it, but their tagline was like, live it up, and it said, light it up, and then it said slide it up, and I was like, slide, and so the marketing team was looking, and there's like this really cool water slide that must be like 8 or 10 stories.
Oh,
so and there's still the
I forgot to ask that question. Yes,
the go-kart track too, so there's stuff for kids, but that does seem like a great ship for adults just looking for a relaxing,
it looked amazing
experience.
So before we get into this, let me ask you this, because this goes along. We've got 5 email marketing resolutions. How do you feel about throwing that video in an email marketing campaign and sending it off to clients?
Oh my gosh, I think that's a great idea, and everyone should do it right away. There are so many people who have been waiting to travel, and maybe now is the right time for them, especially waiting to cruise. Mm-hmm. And you said there are sales, it's a great value for your dollar. The Norwegian brand is showcasing something new, so definitely those newest, hottest items, that's what clients want to hear from you. And as Ashley pointed out on our team, graphics and video are always going to make your emails stand out because, we read a lot. So, who wants to sit around and read some more when you're checking email? You're probably going to scroll through it and just catch the highlights. In a video, though, we'll spend up to a couple hours a day watching videos if you're attached to your device like I am.
Yes. All right. So what is our first marketing resolution?
Okay, so our first resolution actually has to do with your email signature. So the idea is to let your email signature do the work for you. And the idea is, think of it like an ad for your business. So if you were to take out an ad, what would you put in it? You'd probably definitely have your agency name or logo. You'd have maybe a picture to catch attention. So think of your signature that way, just like you're paying for that space, because here's the thing, you're not paying for it. Your email, maybe you're paying for the provider, but this can go in every email. And if you also add that same signature for your reply, then people don't have to scroll and scroll down to find, your contact information. So the things you definitely want to do to just resolve to have a better email signature are include either your professional headshot or your company logo if you really don't want to put your face out there, but we prefer the headshot because it really helps the email seem like it's more personal. Mm-hmm. Also include social media profile links. So maybe you just need to update your signature. Maybe you have gotten into YouTube and video more and you need to add that little icon. You can just, there are plenty of sources out there. I usually like to go right to the social media site and download their, I'm a brand person, so I follow the rules. And, if I'm looking for a little Facebook icon, I don't make my own. I just get one that's already made out there. And again, those colorful little tokens, whatever you would call it, sorry, icons at the bottom of your email really might help you gain followers on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're at. One more thing you can do is kind of add a call to action. So again, this goes back to treating it like an ad. What's the current hot thing you're selling? I mean, you could even put a link, to that video in your email signature. And hey, my cruising clients, check out the latest ship from Norwegian. Or you could do something to ask for, testimonials. We talked about showing gratitude in a past week. Capture those. It's hard to sometimes talk yourself up. So thank your clients and say, thank you for your referral business. I love referrals. This is what makes my small business work. You can just put a little tagline like that, or even your agency tagline, and it goes a long way to brand your company. Oh, one more important thing, if you have office hours, you can be sure to include those because, this email signature can tell people how you prefer to be reached and clarify when and how you want clients to communicate with you. So if you're traveling, such as you are, I got your out of office reply, which we'll talk about a little later. And it helped me understand, okay, this is when I'm going to be able to hear from Carolyn, on this matter.
Right. Carrie, let me ask you something. A lot of agents will put in their signature line, pricing and availability is subject to change, or passport information, CDC information. How do you feel about that? Or is that like, are we getting to the point where our signature line is this long and it's too much information?
Yeah, I think that I have gotten those signatures from travel agents that kind of have every disclaimer known to man. They want to cover their bases, and I get it because it's a scary time to hit yes on that booking, and considering there's a lot that's out of our control right now. But this is a case where you could probably have a couple different email signatures. Maybe you have one for prospective clients who you're just quoting with, and then once you're emailing about a booking, maybe you switch your email to be the one with the disclaimers, and you just call it signature with disclaimers.
Very
you could
good.
also
Okay.
You could also link to longer disclaimers if you need to mention those items. Link to a web page because links do work in signatures, and that can be a very effective way to cut down on the text but still get the important information out there.
Right. So our second one is a keep in touch campaign.
Yeah, so the idea behind this one is if you don't have an email campaign such as a monthly newsletter, you definitely want to make 2022 your year to start that. This should be just a friendly way of engaging your clients and prospective clients, not a hard sell. So you're not always just taking the promotions that you find and forwarding that out, or taking a supplier email. Our suppliers make beautiful, fabulous emails for us, but the more you can personalize something to your agency and always tie it back to you, that will help you even sell those beautifully branded products. So your monthly newsletter, it doesn't have to be too text heavy either. Maybe you just think there's not a lot to say right now about travel. You can use it to educate people. You can pick a destination or a type of travel. Honeymoons, maybe your clients aren't honeymooners, but they know someone that they could just forward that email to, and they are honeymooners. Everybody loves a good top 10 list. Everybody loves to see the beautiful places that we're selling, maybe the beautiful places that you're traveling as a traveler. We at KHM Travel Group, we provide our agents with Latest Waves, which is a template. You have access to this through your CRM, and we make new content each month, and it does have text and graphics and sometimes links to videos. But all travel advisors can access marketing templates through the suppliers. And we definitely just recommend that you're at least emailing in everyone like once a month. You can do it more than that, especially if you keep them shorter and sweeter. But yeah, you definitely want to have an engaging, just a keep in touch email campaign. So maybe there's people that haven't booked in a while. Maybe there's people you've met, you've collected business cards because you're out and about a little bit more now, networking maybe. Just ask them when you get that business card, can I add you to my email list, and make sure you always have an option to unsubscribe because that's required by law. But I think as long as people can hit unsubscribe, they don't mind these days now if you add them, especially if you send an intro email that says, this is what you can expect, kind of like when you join a texting campaign and you're told you're going to get 4 to 6 text messages a month. Then you're like, okay, I know how many I'm going to get. One other thing is to keep it consistent. So always use the same subject line. You know, agents, when we send out our Agent Access Weekly, it's here's your Agent Access Weekly. I don't think we've changed that subject line in like 9 years.
Yeah.
I can ask Michelle, but you know, maybe have your agency name in there. Maybe have their first name if you can merge that in. Just something that always catches their attention.
I think we work so hard to wow our clients, right? Mm-hmm. Through the whole booking process. We don't want to drop the ball once they become a client, right? We need to keep them as a client, because maintaining that client can sometimes be harder than getting a new one. So we got to keep them. And the only way to do that is to keep reminding them that we're here.
Exactly. So, you know, the holidays also offer a great reason to just send a heartfelt message, whether it's gratitude, whether it's love. I mean, Valentine's Day is coming up. How can you put your travel agent spin on that? You know, is it top 10 beaches that you love? Or is it I love referrals? Or is it just I love my clients? You know, send them a Valentine. That's not a hard sell at all. That's just saying I appreciate you. You know, Valentine's Day doesn't have to only be for lovers. Mm-hmm. It can be for everyone. Friends, clients,
very
supporters.
Good.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay,
and then
number
one
3.
Other quick thing, because I have like 6 bullet points about it, but I don't want to go on too long. And it has to do with like, I guess it's the next item, number 3. That's right. It's automating email campaigns. So do you do this, Carolyn? Like once a trip
I don't. This is my downfall. This is absolutely my downfall.
Sure. And, you know, I did not mean to put you on the spot, but another great way to keep in touch with clients, and this has to do with email marketing, right, is after the trip is booked, you can create an automated email campaign. So either using the CRM we provide, or maybe your own CRM from your host agency, or maybe MailChimp, something like that. You could have a campaign based on the destination or the type of trip. So, you know, make it easy and kind of start with one email series for land travelers and one for cruisers, because you might talk differently about each of those experiences, right? Especially first-time cruisers. Maybe you have a first-time cruisers email that only certain people will get. Mm-hmm. And, you know, a series might sound overwhelming because maybe you're booking travel a little closer in than you used to. So you can start with like 1 email a week for the next 4 weeks, or have like 5 to 7 standard emails that basically start with a thank you for booking, and then go to, you know, what to expect next. Maybe like that's where you could put what it's going to be like to work with me. How do you contact me if you want to make another payment? What if my plans change? You know, how do we make changes or additions? You know, this could be an option to say, okay, you've booked your trip. Now here are the excursions available at XYZ destination. And really,
I love that. You know, we don't always think about the what's next, right? We think about the what's next as far as like the trip goes, and here's what you need to do, and the know before you go. But we don't always think about the question someone has. Okay, now I'm booked, but my trip isn't for 6 months. What's going to happen? Will I ever hear from you? Will you reach out? I love that idea.
Yeah, and this is you know, a scary time maybe for agents right now, because there's a lot that happens in that what's next. You know, they get the booking, and now you do want to keep them informed about any policies that change with regards to their destination or testing requirements. You know, you don't want to just get the booking and then not hear from them until, you know, a week before they go, and then they're trying to get all their things in order. So you could even send out tips, right. You know, tips for traveling internationally. And this helps like position you as not only a good travel agent, but just, you know, really good at customer service, because you're thinking beyond the booking. Yeah. You're thinking, okay, maybe, you know, this is an anniversary. So some ideas of what you could do to surprise your sweetheart on the trip. You know, call me and work with me, and we'll plan a surprise for him or her. So the idea is just that you're staying in communication with your clients, and you're providing them exceptional customer service, as I said. And again, our KHM Travel Group agents, not to harp on this, but we have several traveling email automations that we're pretty proud of. They're based on different destinations, and we do have one for cruising. We have a newer one for Alaska. So each series is specifically designed with templates that are just pre-programmed to be sent after a certain amount of time. So there are certain triggers, and it's usually a number of days. So again, you have to make sure your booking's not too close in, because you need time for the full campaign to run, and you don't want to be sending the emails back to back. You know, you want to give some space in between them, but it's a huge time saver to know that you're keeping in touch both with your email newsletter and with these automated campaigns. And that way, you know, maybe the only other thing you have to do is a birthday automation or an anniversary automation. We have those too. You know, your anniversary is coming up, and I notice it's going to be a big one. Have you thought about booking a trip?
Ah, very good. Proactive. Okay, up your out of office.
Okay, so the next one is short because I know you guys have talked about this already, but like up your out of office autoresponder game. You know, everyone always says, oh, I'm not available, or you get like a reply it's that standard out of office message. I think Microsoft Office might even suggest one. Well, make yours fun, you know, list your upcoming trip dates so they see that you're traveling. You can actually put those in your email signature ahead of time before you activate your out of office, and then be sure to set up an out of office responder, you know, from maybe the morning you leave or the night before. I think yours was really good, Carolyn, because it said I will have limited availability to, or limited access, you know, and then that triggers them that, oh, okay, maybe she's not at a computer the whole time she's in Spain. And then, you know, even if you know your day and there's going to be a certain hour you're going to check in, you could say that.
Carrie, could this backfire though on us? Could it backfire in the sense that, you know, if someone sees that you, you know, you're gone, or is there wording we should use that doesn't necessarily say we're unavailable or on vacation? Because sometimes I know I've heard this from clients, I know other agents have, well, we didn't want to bother you on vacation. And so then you come back and they've booked their own trip, or they don't realize that you're, you know, checking, you're not attached to your computer like maybe you normally are, but handling a quick booking is something that you were willing to do. So is there verbiage we can use so it doesn't backfire on us?
I think you can say, you know, while my availability is limited, like keep in mind, vacationing is my business. So even though I'm on a personal vacation, you could just very clearly spell it out and say, you know, I do have some availability. If you have a quick question, I will be able to respond, you know, or if you need to make a change or a payment, you know, I will be able to help. Just remind them that, you know, does anyone really go on vacation these days and completely unplug? No. I've also seen agents use this, the out of office signature, to remind their clients that they are getting education. So if you're going on a fam trip, or you're going to an event like Cruise 360 or one of our KHM, you know, boot camps, I've seen people post up a graphic that says like, hey, I'm off busy learning about travel. And that's just another way to share your expertise along with combining it with your out of office message. So those are just some things we thought that maybe you weren't thinking about as really email marketing, but every email you send kind of is marketing in a way.
Absolutely. When
you're out of office.
Okay, and then finally, this is also terrible. I'm going to ask you how many emails are sitting in your inbox. So keep your inbox organized and clean.
Okay, so this is one that I really need to do myself. But what has helped me is, I would say it's probably in the thousands. But what has helped me is creating rules. So how do you keep your inbox organized and clean? Like, does anyone else out there see the new year as an opportunity to just finally tackle that beast? I do. You know, one time
Tim, is that a SMART goal?
I don't finally tackle that beast. So actually, to make it measurable, this is not in my talking points, but I will tell you that one time I wrote down the letters of the alphabet, A through Z. And I thought over 26 days, there's 26 letters, right? I sorted my email inbox by sender. So on day one, I think I read 1 million emails from Ashley and Amanda at the time. I went through letter by letter, because typically if you're going to use folders and categories to organize, and say you do want to keep your client communications, you know, you can just grab all those emails, put them in a folder. You know, there's like a lot of space up there in that cloud. So if you sort your inbox by different, you know, or maybe you want to look at the ones with attachments to see if you need to save that file somewhere else, or you can delete it because that's taking up too much space. So basically the idea—
I feel like what you just said is life-changing. Sorting your inbox
by who it's from.
Letters.
And then I felt so proud every day when I was able to cross off that A at the end of the day. I felt so proud. I was like, okay, I'm through A, B, C, D, and I could see the letters stacking up. And then I was like, okay, I have M through Z to do. And I honestly think I fell off the wagon. I really think I did, but I might try it again.
So people are writing in that they do this. And you guys, I'm stunned. Like, this never crossed my mind to do this. Yes. Vicky says she always sorts her inbox by sender to administrate and manage her inbox.
So here,
you guys are so smart.
Do that. Okay, so sorting the inbox and also using rules could be life-changing. So I help run the marketing team, and so I have a lot of supplier logins, and I know that you travel agents do as well. And if you start getting into the marketing image libraries, you might have a second Carnival login and a second Royal Caribbean. So they send out a lot of emails, which is great, you know, but we can't all stay on top of 50 different suppliers, you know. So maybe you have your top suppliers and you put those supplier offers or just supplier updates into a Carnival folder, and therefore you can do it by the sender email address or the subject line. I mean, these rules can get so specific. It's crazy. You can trigger rules if there's just one certain word in your email. It can flag it, it can color code it and categorize it. You can even, Ashley wanted me to make sure I pointed out, you can name your categories. They don't just all have to be the red category or the yellow category, because sometimes you forget what yellow meant, you know, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But you can name your categories. You can have clients as a category, or you could have personal travel as a category. Ashley's really great at this. So I almost feel like I should have turned the camera over to her. But, you know, she typed up the talking
This is amazing to me.
Yeah,
I don't do this at all.
Melissa on our team suggested that you also set aside time then to sweep your inbox. Now, this is what Ashley does, and I've heard other people do this too. Their inbox, if something is in their inbox, there's something that still needs to be addressed. So at the end of the week or at the end of the day, how often you touch your email, you know, it's up to you. You get everything out of that inbox that is done and taken care of, and over into a folder if you need it in the future, or delete it. And then that way your inbox is only the pressing issues. I mean, that's what an inbox was supposed to be, right? It wasn't supposed to be a stack of all the papers that have come across your desk in the past year. So that's a good one to try. You can also sort set a rule to delete promotional emails after a certain amount of time. Now, this is a good one if you get a lot of store coupons, or sometimes, you know, you can set it to expose, like Agent Access Weekly has a lot of current, that's our agent email, by the way, with promotions, the KHM. So that has a lot of time sensitive stuff. So maybe you want those to delete after 2 months, because are you really going to go back and read 2 months ago's? No, if you miss a week or two, the promotions might already be expired. Yeah. So I don't know, there's probably, geez, my team's really good at organizing, and they could go on and on about this. I'll just share one more idea. Leave the email unread until you actually read it. So if you're someone who signs up for a lot of lists, like maybe you get the ASTA Daily Advisor, maybe you get all kinds of, like, you know, relevant news about Corona, and you get all kinds of updates, leave it unread until you actually read it. You know, there's no harm it being a new message. And then that way you can remind yourself that, oh, I need to go back and read that. A lot of people mark things as read just because they don't want the notification, but then they forget to take action on it later. So even if you read it and you need to do something, you could mark keep as new, and it will make it like it's new in your inbox again. And that way you'll see it the next day and maybe be surprised and maybe tackle it. But every email provider has different terms and options. So learn what yours offers and use them. You can even forward emails that have certain words, like to another email account. So if you have an associate agent working with you, someone who's helping you with bookings, you know, you can get help with your email inbox, because I know there are some of us out there who need help.
Yes, I love it. Before I let you go, I want to ask you a question. Wendy Payne has asked, she says, do you have any advice on announcing myself as a new agent in an email? I already have an email list of 800 and still learning the reservation process with the suppliers. So how do you tell people in your email that you're new without sounding inexperienced?
Yeah, so I think that my best advice there, which I probably have learned by sitting in on some boot camps, it would be to just share your why. That is why you decided to do this. You know, why now? Have you developed your agency branding, and can you tell a story about that? So I would really use that opportunity, think of it almost like a press release, but more so like telling your story, and be very upfront about why you got into this, which destinations you're already familiar with. Maybe you've cruised since you're a child, and so that's an area you're going to specialize in. Maybe share what your goal will be for the first year, and I think just always being honest and saying, I'm here to help you with a booking, to get you quotes. Like, just kind of tell them what the process will be like. Because no travel agent has it all figured out. You're still going to get stumped by clients and questions. And
I think, Wendy, this is a great opportunity for that 30-second commercial, right? You don't want it to be too long, but you want to share your why, as Carrie has said. But there's a great way to introduce yourself without sounding like, without showing that you're new. And that's saying, I joined the travel industry in 2021 after years of booking my own travel and traveling to 10 different countries. That's a way to show that, yeah, you might be new to the industry, but you know what you're talking about. So 30-second messages are amazing. And if you are not signed up for boot camp, we are going to sign up, because we're going to work on those 30-second messages while you're at boot camp. And so that's a message to all of you. If you're looking to do some of these things, boot camp is open for registration for February. So come join us. But this is a great place to showcase that. Wendy, you're not getting any sympathy if you're going to Aruba. Join us in May. But
I think that's great advice for Wendy. I think, there are so many skills that are so transferable. So people nowadays, they not only change jobs, but they change industries. So think about those skills that you've earned or that you've learned and how those transfer to the travel industry. Maybe use it as an opportunity to toot your own horn. Like, I'm a fast learner, and I love people, and I see this as an opportunity to help so many people plan that perfect vacation. There you go.
Yes, absolutely. Wendy was a travel writer for the military for 7 years. So this is awesome. And I absolutely think that you should use that in your short spiel. And, and let me just say this as well. And then we gotta go. I gotta go to bed, man. It's 10 o'clock. Let me say this. This doesn't, Wendy, absolutely have to be in your email signature. You can send an email out when a client meets you for the first time. It can be that introductory email. Your introductory email does not need to be a series of questions that ask the client what they're looking to see and do and who's going. It can just be a, welcome to my agency. I'm so excited to meet you and to work with you. Here's a little bit about me. That can be the very first communication with someone. It does not have to be a series of questions trying to qualify the client. Start the conversation in a way that's going to open it up for you to share, your why, how you do it, how you work, what you're going to do. So there's our 2 cents for today.
Hopefully everyone is going to feel so much more on top of their email marketing game with these 5 resolutions.
Yes, we're going to check in next week to see if anyone has sorted their inbox, and then we're going to check in 6 months and see if they've sorted their inbox. And I will tell you, it is a great thing to do on an airplane, is to sort the inbox. I always save time on my airplane to sort, because I can watch a movie and do that at the same time.
If you have the Wi-Fi. I think that's
no, with Outlook. Oh. With Outlook, you can sort.
Oh, Outlook.
Without being on Wi-Fi. Yes, yes. So anyways, you guys, Carrie, thank you so much for being here. It has been wonderful. So many great things to say. And thank you. All right, you guys, it has been absolutely wonderful being with everyone today. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully I'll be back next Wednesday from my basement. And for the life of me, I cannot remember who's going to be on, but I will tell you it's going to be a fantastic show. So join me next week on Wednesday for KHM Today. Thank you to our show sponsor, Apple Leisure Group, and to all our amazing segment sponsors that are part of this program as well. So you guys have a great rest of your week. Stay safe and happy selling.